Hi, good morning. Today I want to talk about stewardship in a practical way. I saw something that made me wonder if I have actually, completed or properly steward what God has given to me as a gift, right? So for example, a while ago, it still happens, but not as frequently. I would wake up early in the morning with new songs that I hear in my spirit, and I would write them down, and I would record them right on my phone, and I would store them there. I would never go back to it. And there was a season where every morning it was like that. I would record them and I would never go back to it. In fact, one of the old phones I used to use, I could not retrieve back those recordings, and yeah, it really hurts, but such is life. Now it's happening again, not frequently. Today, I stumbled on something that I used to do, or a gift that I used to operate in. I won't say used to, I still do. And then I saw how someone else used their gifts in a way that I did not think, it could be used, right? And I was marveled. For instance, someone compiled all of their prayer points and converted it to audio. So there was a season where God would give me scriptures and God would give me prayer points from the scriptures, and I would write them down. I'll write them down in my journal. And I never did anything with it except for when friends and families came and told me that they were struggling with things that, those prayer points actually pinpointed. Because I got results from them, I would share them with them. And that was it. I see people compiling these things into books, packaging these things as audios and putting it on their YouTube channel. I heard the Holy Spirit tell me clearly, what did you do with what I gave you? What did you do with it? So today I want to challenge you. What are you doing with that thing that God has given you? Sometimes we say that the gifts that God has given us, we use it in a certain way. And in the end, we think that, that's it. It's done. We're done. We're finished. In Joshua chapter 12, there was a record of the grounds that Moses covered and then Joshua covered, and all of that. And in chapter 13, the Bible starts, Joshua 13, the Bible starts with, and Joshua was old, and God called him and said, Joshua, you're very old. However, there's still more grounds to cover. I remember the first time my pastor shared this information, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't sleep that night. I could not sleep after he shared that message. I couldn't, because sometimes we get this satisfaction from what we have done. No, not in the way that you think that it will be obvious. We get this satisfaction from, I've read the Bible, back to back, 5 years consecutively, or I've read the Bible, and then someone comes and says, I read the Bible and I created my own version of the Bible. I read the Bible and I created a concordance from the Bible. I read the Bible and I wrote a 3-volume book series of my experience from reading the Bible. And you're here like, okay, I read the Bible. And so when the Holy Spirit ministered to me, what have you done with what I have given you? I'm like, it also reminded me of when I was listening to Pastor Lawrence and he was saying, these songs, the way these songs come out, these songs, and how those songs have helped people. Even I myself, I know what I have experienced, singing those songs, no matter how short they are. I've seen deliverance, right? And I'm wondering, okay, Tosin, all of the songs that you recorded. So today, this month, I want to challenge you. What are you doing with what the Holy Spirit has given you? What I just shared with you, the practical examples I shared with you, are actually ways to multiply the gifts. Remember the talent, the parable of the talents? When the master came back and he said, okay, and this one said, I got 5 more. I got 4 more. And one said, you're a wicked master and I just kept it. When we do not multiply what God has put in our hands, we're like that last one. Yeah, we might not call our master wicked, but our actions refer to him as wicked because we do not multiply what he has put in our hands. I want you to go back to all of the things that God has given you and ask yourself, how can it be a blessing to others? And how can you multiply it so that, people beyond your locality can access and tap into what you have experienced with that gift? All right? Have a blessed day. Bye.